Hello, sixth grade. Today's homework is about interpreting graphs. At the top is a two-sentence story. Your job is to match one of these graphs below, either A, B, or C, that one, or that one, with the story. Right? So I'm going to do the first story, and then you will need to try your best at the second story. It says, Jenny leaves home and drives to the beach. Right? So I'm going to stop right there and look at all three graphs to see if I can find the one that shows that she's leaving her home and driving somewhere. When I look down at these graphs, I can see that on the y-axis, on the up and down, it says distance from home. Right? So if that's the distance from home, I can also imagine the numbers that would be on the y-axis, and that would be 0, I don't know, maybe 10, 20, 30, maybe 40 miles. I don't know how far away the beach is, all right? It's a long ways away from our school here in St. Paul, right? So if she's leaving home, that means she's at home, so she's 0 miles from home. I need a graph that shows the line starting right here at 0. So it could be A. Or it could be B. Again, at the very beginning of the line, it's starting at 0. There aren't any numbers going up and down the y-axis, but where these connect, it's always 0. So this spot right there, it's always, always, always 0. But look at the last one. The last one doesn't start right there in the corner. It doesn't start at 0. When it starts up here, it says that she's already not at her house. It says she's a long distance away from her house. Right? I could draw it down here in the corner too. This is my really awesome attempt at a house. Her house is down here. That's why the line needs to start down here, right? Okay, so what this means is it can't be graph C. I'm going to cross that out. It can't be C. But it could be A or B. So now if I look at A and B, they clearly have one thing that's different. I think A goes a little bit higher, but B has this spot in the middle where it's straight across, right? So at that place straight across, it really means that her distance isn't increasing and it's not going down. If we move the line back down, that means she's going back home. If the line had kept going, it would mean that she's still going away from her house. Instead, because it's straight across, that means that she's staying in one place. All right, so here we go. Let's read the next sentence. The next sentence on the top says, she stays at the beach all day before driving back home. So one of these graphs, A or B, shows that she's staying somewhere, and we already talked about it. It's graph B. This spot right here, that's her hanging out at the beach. B-E-A-C-H. That's her beach time, right? She went to the beach, and then she goes back home. Graph A shows something completely different. Graph A says she drove to the beach, and then she got there for like 2 seconds and then decided to immediately drive back home. That would be a silly thing to do. Unless, of course, like she forgot something that she needed and she needed to drive back home, right? Or maybe like her brother or sister needed her, or her mom or dad, or her kids. We don't really even know how old she is, right? So which graph best shows the solution? It's B, graph B. Maybe I'll just grab a different color here. Graph B best shows the solution. Because it starts at her house, that's the corner, and the flat spot shows her at the beach. Staying at the beach. Okay. You can pause the video if you need to see that so you can copy it, all right? Or you can put it in your own words too. All right. Then let's look at the second one. We're not going to do all of it, but I want to make sure that I read it for you. The first sentence says, the temperature of an ice cube increases until it starts to melt. It warms up until it starts to melt. And then the next sentence says, while it melts, its temperature stays constant. So one of those graphs shows both things. It shows that the temperature increases and then its temperature stays constant. All right, so you pick one down below. Remember to circle. Might be A, could be B, could be C, but only one of them makes sense. Write in the letter and tell me why. All right, we'll see you tomorrow in class.